go to executive session anytime you want.
Yeah?
Just open the meeting.
Yeah, okay.
And call for an executive session. Somebody should make the motion.
So, good evening. Tonight is the November the 1st, and it's our regular select board meeting, and I to work on that a little more.
So moved.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So we are going to go, we think we're gonna be about half an hour, and then we'll come back and resume the regularly scheduled meeting.
Right, we have 4 community members. If it were just the select board, we could do this after the meeting.
We could bend.
But we have 4 community members who are getting eager for supper. And so we're gonna go finish this meeting and we'll be back.
We'll be right back.
Thanks.
Thank you.
That's okay. So, select board, yeah, we're out of executive session and we're back to roll with this agenda. So first item is approve minutes from regular select board meeting of October 18th and special select board meetings held on October 19th, 24th, 29th, and 30th. I'd love a motion to accept all these as a block.
So moved.
Do we have the minutes from all the special ones?
Oh, yeah.
I haven't seen them.
John, do you have the minutes from the special ones? Did you happen to print those?
Temporary.
Shoot, I didn't print them.
Okay, they're just
I emailed them to John.
Good.
4 o'clock.
So those are the meetings that were all just executive session for looking for the town manager?
Yes.
Yeah,
there's
the
nothing
meetings,
really-
all those minutes have the people, the time we started, we went into executive session, and the meeting was adjourned. The date is different on all of them, and some of them don't have the same people.
Okay, good.
But that's
my memory.
There's nothing to.
Move to accept them?
Wiz already has.
Okay.
Second.
And any more discussion?
I don't think we need any.
All in favor of accepting all those minutes as written, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
You can
Thank
sign
you
those.
so much. I'll sign those at a later date.
Or Monday or whatever.
Yep. The next is set adjust agenda. We're not going to add anything. Do we want to subtract anything?
Whoops. We might take off number 2, which is, I haven't negotiated a contract with Co & Co at this point for architectural services. It relates to the Yellow Barn. It's part of the project we're doing for USDA. But we have to come together on a price and the quantity of work you're going to do. So I decided to take that off, and we'll have to do it again.
We're removing item number 2 for now. It'll come back to haunt us next time.
Yeah, or maybe we might have to have a special meeting.
Just so happens we'll be having a few.
Yeah, he probably
That's
will.
true.
So you could do that at that time if we decide to do it.
3 times a week right
Yeah.
now, I guess we can sneak in.
At least. Okay.
You don't have an agenda?
Any other changes to the agenda?
I've got minutes.
Okay,
Motion to accept the adjusted agenda?
adjusted to remove item number 2.
Exactly.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. We got a slightly adjusted agenda. Next, communication from the audience. Looks very sparse out there tonight, Leaf. I don't know what you've done to drive them away.
Leaf was telling jokes earlier. That's what it was.
Okay. Next, town manager report. John Jewett.
This is going to be brief.
Excellent.
Okay. Crafted a contract for MBF Architects to develop a plan for a new addition to the library. The cost, at least on this contract right now, is $12,000.
Wow, that's pretty reasonable.
Yeah, I think they call it a feasibility study preliminary design. It's probably not everything, but I was amazed at the amount of work they're doing for 12 grand.
Wow.
Yeah. We found it necessary to change the oil tank at the library. The current tank started leaking and it was recommended to change it immediately. The leak was temporarily plugged using a sheet metal screw, and most of the oil will be removed and a new tank has been ordered. And then while we're there, that is a steam boiler. It's been in there since the late 60s, and there's significant corrosion on it. And the person, Wayne Richardson, looked at it and he goes, you know, the main pipes that are coming out of there are so rusted you can almost, he said, I wouldn't even dare even touch them. He said, I know if I try to get that pipe out, that whole, it's going to ruin, the entire boiler is going to go down because it's corroded, like from halfway down. It's just really bad because of the moisture.
Can you back up and tell what you told me about, or a previous discussion about how there was an issue with the water, the system was overfilled with water or something, right? So it needs work.
Well, what happened too is that the flow valve stuck, which the flow valves, you can change the flow valve, but it was stuck, and a steam boiler is only supposed to have water up to the middle of a sight glass, because any higher than that ends up going into the system and acts like water hammer, can just blow pipes apart. Well, what happened was they called me to go over there and check it out. They said there was water coming out of the radiator, so I went over and I checked. The radiators were all full, which meant that the flow valve, when it opened up to allow water to come in, it's supposed to shut off at a predetermined interval. It didn't shut off, it just filled completely, so we had to drain about 200 gallons of water out of there. But that's what got Mark to go in and check it out in the middle of the night, and he saw the oil tank was starting to drip, so he put a bucket under it. And then we called Wayne, he came right down and plug the leak.
So my only concern is putting a lot of money into that, and when
Bad timing.
renovation takes place, I'm assuming we would have to
Redo a heating
redo it.
Well-
You would want one, whatever they do, they're gonna want one.
They may want one heat plant, but I'll tell you, if that steam boiler fails in the middle of winter time,
Right, I mean, I'm just asking that's,
that's what I mean, I talked to them about it, and it may be 2 years before they build that, and if it doesn't, if the bond vote doesn't pass, it may be 3 years before they build it.
so we need to get a price.
He said he thought he was on the high side for price, he said probably around 9 grand. We have 27,000 or so, I think,
Can't
probably.
really afford to have it not work in February.
Exactly.
And this might change their plans. They might decide just to leave the antique steam system in there because it fits the building as opposed to running in all this new radiation and everything. They might just leave it alone and just take care of the other building as far as their heating is concerned.
But it's bad timing, but we don't have much of a choice, it doesn't sound.
No, it looked bad. I mean, I looked at that, and it's really bad. He said he'd never get that pipe out of that cast iron, and this iron pipe.
I believe that.
Yeah. He's checking on it. We haven't made a decision yet, so I'll let you know, though.
Yeah.
We sent a request for proposals for an archaeological 106 evaluation at the Yellow Barn. It's kind of funny. They had us come in and we had an architectural historian come in and look at the building, and it's probably going to end up being put on the National Register. The guy was saying it's probably likely it's going to happen. On the other case, though, I was kind of surprised. They had also made a recommendation that we dig it up and look for arrowheads and stuff like that, tomahawks. They're going to be digging. They're going to be doing it. That's what they're going to be looking for. Not cow bones, I can tell you that much.
That stuff's important.
I don't think it's not important. I just think that there's going to be another expense.
$3 grand.
And then, so I'll give you, when we're done with this, I'll give you a list of all the different environmental things I had to look at. There's the next thing on the horizon after this is, was it the endangered species? I want to see if there's any endangered species over there too.
There is, Hardwickians.
Anyway, I'm not being negative. I'm just kind of amazed by the last 5 years of changes to the environmental rules. And it's prime agricultural land too, by the way. We found that out. Thing is, it's a wetland. You can't spread manure within 50 feet of a river, so you're not going to use that for farmland. But it's called prime farmland, even though it's covered with 15 feet of fill.
Right, but you know that field right there where our trailhead is, that was hayed not that long ago.
So that,
no, that's farmland.
Down to the Ward Farm.
Yeah.
but
That's over in Cabot there now.
But that's exactly the issue, Danny, is that low place is listed as prime ag land. It's in some register, but the line is drawn such that it comes up onto that elevated area right up by the barn.
That was never there.
Right, but it's there now.
But it's been there for the last 40 years, but like they said to me, they said they don't care what's been there the last 40 years. It's what's under there that counts.
Exactly.
So anyway, we're gonna have to probably pay them off for a portion of the lost farmland, which is about 6/10 of an acre.
I didn't do it.
Anyway, carry on.
Anyway, to me, it's just totally amazing. It's amazingly interesting, all the stuff that's going on. We researched the process necessary to move a Class 3 town road. This is a road that goes through Lamoille Valley Ford's parking lot. We contacted the rail right-of-way section for comments, and I just wanted to say that the first indication I got surprised me, is that because of that road it goes in, you know where it goes in, it goes right in the middle of the parking lot. So we're thinking maybe we could run it down, move it and run across the railway and run over to
Closer to Donuts.
straight, right past Donuts at an angle, right straight onto the existing road, and then turn all that other road property over to Lamoille Valley. The thing is, they said that they thought that might be a good idea because of the corner there, and then Lamoille Valley has like 5 access points on Route 15, which they don't like, and they said maybe going forward what will happen is Lamoille Valley Ford will do this, but the cost to them will be to give up those 5 access points. They'll have to come in off our Class 3 road.
It might make that whole intersection safer.
That's what they said. And they said they might be willing to do that, and they might be willing not to charge us anything for the crossing, and they might be willing, they're gonna put some other things in there, but other than that,
I wonder who said get on that?
I wonder who got on it. That's a lot easier. You can
got
say
a
anything
thank
you
you?
want, but doing the work is
Who
what
got a
counts,
thank
Danny.
you, a written
Danny,
thank you?
that's what you do,
Who
man.
got a written thank you on record saying, thank you, John Jewett?
Oh, shoot, I deleted that already. No, I kept it, I'm sorry. But anyway, no, Danny called me about it today, so I researched, I thought there'd be all over our case about
Well, that's
charging
what
us.
everyone stopped. Everyone was scared to death of it, and I'm like, well, I know John can ask the question, and we'll see where we go.
And you know what? He said the biggest holdout's gonna probably be the property owners that want you to do it. Now they won't want you to do it because it might cost them something.
That's right.
You know,
It's gonna-
it might cost them some lost access, but it's gonna make that whole place look better.
Right, so it depends on how they view it.
Yeah, it does. So that's up to Danny. He's gonna negotiate that
Yeah,
part of it.
and honestly, it is really up to all of
Yeah.
them, because it's
Yeah.
not, as a taxpayer that lives on Magville Road.
Yeah, and this doesn't go without a cost, though. We're gonna have to survey that road, we're gonna have to lay it out, we're gonna have to have a hearing over there, a site visit,
But again,
warn meetings.
there
Yeah.
are people there that are gonna directly benefit from it. So
Yes.
they're the ones that wanna do it, they're gonna be the ones that are expected to help do it. I'm not saying it's all on them, but certainly not gonna be on the taxpayers.
Some of it is.
So, fair.
Yeah.
A deal.
I must, but anyway, and I had one I almost skipped right over. There were some customer complaints, there was a customer complaint relating to the cost of disconnected water and sewer. The town charges a full flat rate or a full metered rate for customers with their water turned off. This has some customers upset, especially those customers that have a meter in their house, but they might have a vacant lot which just doesn't have a meter, and the vacant lot's turned off, and the house is turned on, and they're paying more for not used water in the vacant lot than they are for the water they're using in their house. To me, that doesn't really make sense.
No.
And so I look forward to our discussions with the town clerk, and the select board can make a decision on how they want to move forward with that.
But I'm not clear exactly on how that works, so why do they pay more than?
So in the past, we've always had a policy or a procedure where when water gets shut off for whatever length of time, you can have it shut off but not be disconnected from the system.
Right.
At which point you pay.
Winter shut-offs.
A lot of
Yeah,
winter
mostly for
shut-offs.
people going away, or people that have mobile home lots that want to shut them off, there's no mobile home there.
Right, but then the charge was 65%, I believe.
Of the base rate.
Of the base rate. So somehow, when we set rates last time, somehow it's been interpreted that we've dropped that discount for,
I think it was a decision made by the town clerk that we were going to charge a full rate. The full rate.
anyway, we need to come to some
It wasn't, you guys didn't even know about that, you didn't even see that.
We didn't, so in any case, I don't believe that this body intended that change, and so we have to come to some sort of clarity about where that came from and what we need to do to get back to that, I
Let's not
think.
worry about where it came from, let's worry about what we want to do.
Okay.
When you have somebody call you up and say, you know, I have a vacant lot and I'm paying, you know, $30, $40 more a quarter for that vacant lot, using no water, and I'm using 10,000 gallons at my house, and I'm paying less, that doesn't make sense.
Why are they paying more on the vacant lot, though? That's the part I don't understand.
Because
It doesn't have a meter,
it doesn't have a meter.
and it's a flat rate.
The flat rate's a little
You know
higher.
what they could do? They could just buy a meter and stick it up there, dig a hole and put the meter in there.
So this is something that can be worked, that needs to be worked out within the water system and brought to us to approve.
Correct.
It's not something we're gonna figure out, right? Or is it?
No, I think it's something that somebody from the select board should be involved in this decision-making, because I'm not gonna be here.
Well, I know, but, okay. I agree, we should make the decision.
I've been trying to connect with the town clerk, and I will continue to try to connect.
And what the issue is they don't want to make too many changes in the base rate and too many different changes in the way we are charging for this till we are comfortable that we know what we're getting for revenues. And right now we have the revenues, we came off the summer and we had fairly high water use, and now we're going into the winter where they suspect that we might have lower water use. And so a lot of these people are paying extra, maybe paying less, so the base rate becomes more important. So Alberta wants to wait another quarter to make this decision, but I can tell you there's going to be some pretty hot people. And the issue I got into is it wasn't my decision to make, and they sent people down for me to argue the town's point of view. And I can't, in good faith, argue the town's point of view when I absolutely do not agree with it.
So I think that.
And I didn't make that decision.
Just so everybody, I think when we were setting these new rates, we understood that it wasn't going to be perfect the first year. And I think that even though it appears we might be tracking slightly under budget for revenues, and if we make some
I don't know if we are or not.
I don't know, but that's the info I got. I'm not sure that we are. But then even if we are, it doesn't really matter because
this doesn't make sense.
right, because this doesn't make sense, and there's enough money to keep the system afloat through one rocky year, and we can, next year when we set rates, we can adjust again, but we need to address these issues that are kind of really
Some are a
urgent,
little absurd.
fairly urgent issue.
This is great nonsense.
This is, all right, next.
That's it.
That's it, thank you. Next up is road foreman, Tom Fadden. Tell us something interesting.
I ain't got nothing.
Oh, come on.
You gotta turn it around. In between the raindrops the last couple of weeks, of course, we didn't do much grading, but we ended up getting the rest of West Hill done. And then we've been kind of spot grading since then. And we hit Carrier Road, Strack Road, Macville, and some of Nichols, and behind the pond there, Atkins Lane. As long as the weather, hopefully, knock on wood, that this rain finally comes to an end. We'll get back out grading as long as we can. We did manage to get up around Lamoille Ave and Caspian Ave, up around the loop there. We hauled some material up around there to get that fixed back up. And then the other part, we worked on the rail trail for a few days down through there, trying to prep that up. And so hopefully we'll cut the cost there when engineering comes around. So we've been down there, and the rest of it we've been busting butt on the trucks and stuff. And we're finally back to full fleet. We finally got all 5 trucks in the garage at one time for the first time in a month. So Pearlie's truck there, his truck's been down in McLeod's. They've of course been quite busy anyways. His truck's been down there for almost a month. So we've been without his for a while.
I had you down there changing kingpins, but you did more than that to it, right?
Yeah, they had to change the kingpins. It went down there because we got DOT pulled them over in Danville, and saw one part of the suspension was kind of cocked off a little bit and bent. So that's why it went down there, because one of the bushings and stuff was wore on the rear end of it and stuff. So they replaced that, straightened that out. While it was down there, I told them, I said, if it's down here, I said, you might as well inspect it. So during the inspection, they saw that the kingpins in the front had a little bit of play in it. So we had them go ahead and change those out, and then of course the regular stuff and the air brake canister and stuff like that. We did today, we ended up getting it back today. We put the new bed chain in his truck that we were waiting to get back. Fixed his spinner, and we did a bunch of other stuff to it. And along with that other stuff there, we got the tool cat all changed and oiled and greased up, and she's ready to roll for this winter. And of course the other part was the F550, which is we took that down to Richards there, had him inspect it, and that had one broken leaf spring in it and an oil leak or a transmission leak, so we fixed that up. So we've been basically going around and getting the trucks ready and stuff. Of course, this time of year it takes a lot of money to do it, but so about it. So
Excellent, thank you. The rail trail looks great where you worked on it. Thank you for that.
Is it travelable now?
Yeah, people should walk it.
Right down?
From North Main Street heading out. I guess I'm not gonna tell people they should necessarily walk across the bridge, but they can walk out to the bridge. It's nice out there.
yeah.
And it'll be better even next summer after we really get the surface done and everything. All right, thank you, Tom. Next up is Police Department report. Aaron Cochran. What have you guys been up to?
Oh, okay, so we had, I'll keep mine short because I think we've got stuff throughout the rest of the meeting to discuss, but, so we had 181 incidents for the month of October. One of the big incidents we dealt with was the armed robbery, which we brought to a quick close, fortunately, so with arrests on that. So we had that. We did, last night was Halloween, of course. So we did the normal thing we've done for years now is the streets. Had quite a few kids, but I think it was down this year. The weather probably affected that.
It was kind of nasty out.
Sure, so yeah. But no problems. So went well. Cabbage night, no problems. Everything, went well there, so. So we were good with that.
No fun no more. I remember that day when we had to have the National Guard in here on Cabbage night.
Yes, that's certainly different than it was 20 years ago here, but. So I'll leave, I did research on the firearms issue from last month and so I'll just leave that till number 3, what I found out there. Been talking with the warden and so on, so I'll leave that for that. The last couple days, we hosted state police as an outpost, for them, so there's been about 30 of them up there.
Up in Woodbury?
Yeah, investigating the Woodbury deal, so, we tried to make the best accommodations we could for them, and so they had a place to work, and so it's been pretty busy up there the last couple of days, so yeah.
Excellent, thank you.
Yep.
Next up is item number 1, select board to review and consider approving a contract with NBF Architects for general architectural services and preliminary designs for an addition to the Judavine
I
Library.
put the contract in there because it's a straightforward boilerplate contract that just stipulates that they're gonna do the design architectural work and for a maximum fee of 12 grand.
Could we have a motion to authorize John to sign a contract with NBF Architects?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, so any, yeah.
I was gonna mention too, bless you.
Thank you.
The money's coming from their building fund. They had set aside $50,000 in that building fund, so it's money that the library folks had acquired and put into that fund.
Yeah. So more discussion on the architects or the library? Bless you again. No, it sounds like they're on a great track this time around.
Yeah, and they're meeting over there now to approve the contract too, so.
Great.
You might just say in that you would approve this contract pending approval by.
We just said we authorize you to sign it.
Yeah.
You could choose not to sign it.
Okay, you got it.
If they don't want you to.
You got it.
We just authorize you to
Wow,
sign
it gives
it.
me a lot of power.
Yeah, it does.
I get a lot of free books.
Yeah, we're not directing you, we're authorizing you.
It's gonna work out good, because you're gonna have a lot of time to read.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
All right, so, all in favor of approving John to be authorized to sign the contract with the Architects for Library, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Let's hope this thing rolls along as smoothly as it looks. Next is item 3, select board to review and consider signing the town of Hardwick's current firearms ordinance, and there are no new changes. And the reason for this is because even though the firearms ordinance was located, it was not, a signed copy was not located. And it had come up because there were concerns about discharge of firearms or something similar up near Macville Pond, correct? Am I correct? Yeah. That's came up before. So Aaron, you said you had researched this a little bit. Do you want to give us a little update?
Sure. So I researched state statute as far as the safety zone signs. It was as I assumed it was originally, knew it to be, and that safety zone signs do have to be 500 feet from an occupied residence or a barn housing animals. So you can't just put them up to consider an area a safety zone, so to speak. So that's in the state statute. I spoke with the warden. He said, yeah, no, you're reading it correctly. That is how it is.
It has a specific purpose.
Specific purpose. Big fines if somebody does shoot within a safety zone, but that's why they're so specific about a safety zone.
But that whole beach area is within 500 feet of the house, isn't it?
No.
That's not within 500 feet of the house across the road?
So you own there's no occupied dwelling that the town of Hardwick has on that.
Oh, so the house has to be within it can't be across the road?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Because you're shooting,
Right. So it's
But we could have no discharge of firearms.
you can have no firearms, and I think that's what we decided to, I'm not sure how Amanda came out. Amanda and I talked, looking at signs and what was available and so on, but, no discharge of fire, anything like that. It's in the ordinance, for that area, so, a sign can go up for that. However, if they are on the waterway in a boat, it's outside the village limits, the waterway is public waters, and you can't limit that, according to the warden, so.
So dump anything from a boat, then
Yes.
state law.
Correct.
Waterfowl laws will regulate with it.
Yeah, but we can, as the ordinance states, you can sign the property itself.
The beach area, kind of.
Yeah.
Which is kind of all we.
So were the shots fired from the beach area?
I'm not sure, I didn't get the complaint, so I don't.
I just want curious, because, when you're standing at the beach, you got a very small body of water and you got a whole row of houses behind it, so. For me, I'm not sure that someone was hunting there. I would think if there was an incident, it'd be more someone hunting on the backside of those houses, which is private property, or on the headwaters, or, you know what I mean, out there. So I don't know the circumstances.
I've seen people hunt from there.
From the beach?
From the beach, yeah.
What exactly would they be hunting?
They were shooting geese. I was on the other side of the pond at the time.
Well,
No, I don't think I'd want to be on the other side of the pond.
yeah, no, I mean,
I was far
for
enough
me,
away, but
it
it
doesn't
was
make
a little
sense,
weird.
but I'm sure you saw them, I'm not doubting that.
They did it. They stripped down and they swam out there and got their goose.
I wonder if
Really?
Yeah, I'm
Guess I've
serious.
got to believe that story, but again, no firearms and no discharging firearms sign at the beach would resolve that issue.
Yeah, seems easy enough.
And that's kind of what we come up with.
Because technically, if they're standing knee deep in the water, then they can shoot anyway.
Because that's.
Only if they've taken their clothes off.
No, my point, I guess, is it sounds to me like all we gotta do is put signs up.
Yeah.
For the beach.
Well, it also seems like we should probably sign the ordinance so that there exists a signed copy, right?
Well, do you think it makes sense, like the ordinance has a few things in it that are, like it talks about the village zone of East Hardwick, which didn't appear to be on any maps that I saw. It also implies, it also talks about that you can hunt in the East Hardwick water thing, which because it's disallowing discharging firearms in recreational areas, it's then implying that is a recreational area, which the town of Hardwick doesn't even own that. So it just seems like there's some stuff we could clean up if we're going to revisit the whole thing, to me, but.
So you volunteering to wordsmith it?
I'd be happy to if you think that makes sense, but.
It's not as simple, it's just, there's a process.
Well, you have to do the whole process.
You'll have to rewrite it, you'll have to have a first reading next meeting, then you'll have to choose if you want to sign it, or if you sign it, then it's got 40 days, it has to sit before it becomes.
But that's
Well,
true no
has to be-
matter what we do, right?
No, if we're not making any changes to it, you don't have to do anything to it. You're not re-adopting it, you're just signing it.
Signing anything.
There's no changes made to it. So if I posted this in the paper saying the changes were made to it, I'd have a big fat 0 there. Would that would be reasonable?
So we know it was adopted in the past?
Huh?
That was my original question.
Right, we have proof that it was adopted.
It's been adopted?
In the past.
I would have to go back and research the minutes. Why don't you guys just go ahead and do this? It'll be like 1st of January, 1st of February before you get it approved. But don't worry about it, just do it. It doesn't make any difference.
What do you mean just do it?
Adopt a stupid thing.
It seems-
Rewrite it and adopt it.
It seems like we should, even if we're not changing it, if we don't know it was adopted, it seems like we should probably go through the process.
Why don't we go back and research 1995 and see if we can find out when it was adopted? Probably has a date on it. Probably had the date right on it when it was adopted, 1995.
October 2nd, 1995.
So we'll go back to October 2nd, 1995, and we'll see it.
So there's an
That doesn't
effective date.
change, though, the fact that Lucian would like to change it, so.
Yeah, and it's no big deal. If you want to
Yeah.
change it, change it.
Yeah.
But if we're not going to change it, you don't need to re-adopt it.
Okay,
That's the point I make.
okay.
I get it, I'm with you.
So if you want to do that, that's fine. It's just a process. It's not a killer. We do this all the time.
Right. It's not a big process. It's just, yeah.
Okay, well, let's talk about it again next meeting, and if people have opinions about not changing it or changing it.
No, you talk about it right
I
now.
think,
Just
yeah.
decide if you want to change
Get
it,
it ready
just
for
do
the
it.
next
And
meeting.
then you have it ready for next meeting.
Start the process of adopting.
Okay, well, I'm not gonna be able to do it before next meeting, I have too much going on right now.
But it doesn't have to be the
Doesn't
next
have to
meeting.
But there's no hurry, right? So-
No.
Okay, good.
No.
So if you want to work on it, and in fact, we could sign the existing one and then still move forward with changes.
Right.
That's fine.
And if we do
Yeah.
that, then we've got
I
a
don't
basis
care.
for that and put these
I don't
signs in.
care.
I don't think it even changes anything, to be honest with you.
Nope. But that's what I think
Why don't you just sign it so you have one in
yes,
place?
I think that would be a good idea, and there's a signed copy, and then we can move forward. It doesn't stop us from moving forward in
Revising it.
4 weeks.
And that's why we put in the agenda that there's no changes to this ordinance, so that anybody going back on this can see that no changes were made. It was just signed because we didn't have a signed copy.
Yep.
So, do you need a motion to sign this?
Yes, please.
I make a motion that we sign the current Town of Hardwick ordinance restricting the discharge of firearms as written in 1995.
Second?
Okay, any more discussion about signing? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Right. Now, if someone chooses to work on and redo, draft it at a
Then we
given
can
time,
just carry on.
but if that doesn't happen,
we still have a signed one. So, great, so we'll sign that. And what about the signing? What about the other sign, the physical signs?
Signing, no discharge of firearms.
No discharge, so you guys will figure that out, somebody over there?
Yeah,
Amanda's
I'm working with
in
the state to get
You're on it.
No,
draft, and
you're
I
quitting.
haven't heard back, but I'll follow up tomorrow.
A signed draft, a draft.
I'd like to see what I'm actually
Like approved.
ordering, so.
Oh, it isn't, I see.
Yeah.
It's not.
There's actually no sign that fits.
No.
It's not
that.
off the
We looked
shelf.
through the book
Custom
and,
sign,
no.
Yeah, it's a custom sign.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, we can get a piece of plywood and stencil it. Make it orange.
Okay. Thank you all. Appreciate all that. Next up, capital budget discussions for next fiscal year, presented by Business Manager Casey Rowell.
One done deal.
This is your agenda, it's on the back of my
Little clerical error.
Jeez.
Now, aren't you sorry you didn't take belly dancing lessons?
Oh, boy. Okay.
All right, so,
Where are we at?
okay, so on that one, I gotta fix. So this is what was approved last year.
Yeah.
For the fiscal year 19, with the exception of the items in yellow, which we're gonna discuss. So so when you look ahead here, I just wanna point out, so I highlighted these areas. So it looks like in 2000, I gotta go back because this is, so 2000, whatever year that was, 25, I believe, or yes, 2025 is kind of showing a negative trajectory.
We dip below, we dip below zero
Yeah.
balance in that year,
Yes,
if everything shakes out as
Correct.
predicted. Yep.
and so at this point, the only kind of proposed changes, so fiscal year, the top line 2019, that's all approved, but when we look ahead to 2020, we've got a dump truck purchase over here. So this was last year, proposed at 115, and talking with Tom, looks like that might need to be 120. The F-150 here, what we're doing with these two right here is, originally this $8,000 mower was put in for 20. We bumped that out 1 year
Okay.
and increased the F-150 by 8,000 because it wasn't enough funds to be able to replace that. So we bumped the 8 out a year later for the mower and allocated that 8 for 2020 to the F-150.
Because the mower's in really good shape,
Yeah.
and we're not gonna need to change it out.
So we
we
could go
used-
another year.
Took the money that we were gonna put into the mower, put into a pickup, and then pushed the mower down a year.
Okay, and then police cruiser, Aaron and I have been going back and forth on that. So originally it was allocated 29,000 for this year. Do you want to explain to them, Aaron? Maybe, yeah, why don't you explain, it might be a little bit easier.
So we've literally run into roadblocks at every turn so far. And so, 29,000, when we got the quote to purchase a cruiser this year, it couldn't be done for 29,000. So, what we did, and we had scheduled for a regular cruiser for this year, and then a detective's car, investigator car for next year, non-outfitted type of, base car. So, what I ended up doing was we could purchase that vehicle for, I got it for 18,300 is what I got it for.
The non-outfitted one.
The non-patrol vehicle for 18,300, so we could fit it in under the 29,000 that we had approved. And so from there, so we were able to, to get one done. We basically just flip-flopped. Instead of doing it next year, we did that this year with the plans of this coming fiscal year doing the patrol car. So we'll have money left over in what the plan was for the purchase this year. So I don't know how we came out with, Casey and I
We were playing around with it. I think we had it at 34 and then we went to 30, depending on whether we can consider carrying over those funds not used this year towards like maybe either an SUV or the more expensive car, because they're not gonna have the less expensive models.
So we just, yesterday, I got an email from Department of Public Safety, who gets the email from Ford because they're obviously the biggest buyer in the state, you know, of the Ford police vehicles. So I get an email yesterday telling everybody if they were interested in purchasing the standard patrol car, such as we have now and the majority of the state has, people in the state have, that has to be done by tomorrow, by Friday. Ford stops taking orders for that vehicle after tomorrow. Everything will then move to hybrid vehicle, hybrid sedan. So, which is different. I'm a little concerned about a hybrid vehicle because of the amount of electronics in it and the amount of electronics you're adding on to it. I'm sure they've tested it and it's probably great. It's just my own skepticism of that particular vehicle when you're adding a lot more electronics onto a vehicle. But so the sedan is going to run about $3,500 to $4,000 more for the sedan. The SUV is expected to come in at $7,000 to $8,000 more than the current model price.
Well, the sedan sounds nice.
Yep. And that's what we purchased, right?
Yeah,
you know, we've done the sedans because they've been cheaper.
Yeah.
So I looked and I said, okay, so maybe Ford's not going to be an option for us. You know, it had been an option. We have a local garage. It's been convenient for us to get if it needs repair, you know, to get it there for repairs. They've been great about getting us in because we can't go without a police cruiser. But so I said, well, you know, maybe that's not going to be an option anymore. So I looked around. Chevrolet is not making sedans as well. That was the other thing about Ford is 2020, they're not making a sedan.
They're not making cars
for 2020.
Anymore.
They're done. Chevrolet, same thing. There are no police vehicles that are sedans. They are either the Tahoe, which is about $50,000. Morrisville went away from the Tahoes and went to the trucks because they were cheaper. So they're making the truck and the Tahoe. Those are the only police vehicles Chevrolet's making. So I looked at Dodge, which, you know, is going even further out for dealerships to work on them and so on. But I looked at those. The all-wheel drive Charger is about $8,000 more than what the all-wheel drive, you know, the current price of the all-wheel drive sedan. So
the Ford is still the best option.
Still the best option and has,
and you can buy it for
the market.
1 or 2 more years.
Well, they're going to make the hybrid sedan for police.
Oh,
but they're not going to make the standard sedan for police. So they are going to make the hybrid sedan.
Yeah, but
they're not going to make a.
It is possible that the fuel economy difference might make up for that because you guys do burn a fair amount of fuel.
Yeah, and so I researched that. They actually had a little calculator on Ford's website to be able to do that. They're looking at or they're estimating 36 miles per gallon out of the hybrid sedan. Now we're getting 17 to 18. So it's almost double. So they're estimating half fuel cost. When you put in, we average about 25,000 miles a year with the area that we have. So I put all of that in. Their estimated savings is about $3,000 in fuel
life of the car
for the first year.
Oh, for the first year.
For the first year, yeah.
Oh.
So.
And you could get your money back.
You could get your money back, essentially, if everything works out the way they're claiming it's going to.
You get your money back every year for 5 years.
I mean, the difference in the cost is about 7,000 more, right?
I thought you said it was only 4,000.
About 3,500 to 4,000 for the sedan is what we're estimating, but we don't have solid numbers yet. So you know.
But in any case, it doesn't sound like a big. In the end, it sounds like it's a savings.
Yeah, it very well could be.
Yeah.
And they
I
go
thought
with
I'd
the
read in
torque.
the news that Ford just wasn't gonna make cars anymore,
Civilian vehicles are.
but they're still gonna make the police, okay?
Right now.
Right now, yeah, we'll see. Okay, so for next year,
saying.
but you're feeling confident for next year, you'd be able to order one of these?
Well, yes,
Okay.
we can look at ordering the hybrid sedan.
Yeah,
But where we run into kind of looking for some guidance
Yeah.
is we're gonna have money left over from the purchase that we made this year. And we did that also, another thing we looked at is while we could get a sedan, a regular
Yeah, yeah.
sedan is another reason why we did that, but we could also fit it in under the current budget. But there's gonna be, after we put a radio in that and so on, there's gonna be about what did we figure, 7,000 to 8,000?
Say 7,000.
7,000 that isn't spent.
Out of the 29.
Out of the 29 that was allocated. So our plan is,
so Tom does that a lot of years too.
yeah, so
With his
we're,
trucks.
so we're not sure
Doesn't
because,
spend as
if-
much as it's in there.
right, if
Yeah.
we
Well,
put,
money's always in there.
Right, he has all the way on the right, yeah,
Right.
that's the
Right,
money.
you know, like
Yeah.
Danny always says, it's not a savings that we're actually doing, I just don't, when I do our trucks, it's for the full amount.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we're doing it right now, and I have no idea what trade-in value is gonna be, so, you know, I can't give a good estimate,
For the
so,
last
I
few
mean.
years, we've been-
Truck two, yeah, yeah.
so we wanna look at, so we don't wanna necessarily put 34,000 in there. We had estimated, projected out 20,000, but we're gonna need to increase that to be able to hit that, say $35,000 mark.
Yeah, you need that, whatever that number is, needs to be realistic for the vehicle you need to buy.
Right. It doesn't need to be, but if we put in 34,
Yeah,
then that's gonna increase the budget and we don't need 34 because we've already got 7 sitting over on the side, but it will show that it's overspent,
no, yeah, but, no.
even though it's really not because it's
No,
sitting there
because,
left
no,
over.
because the way this works is that there's a account balance going forward, and what we're
Right.
trying to make this, all we try to do is, we're trying to make a budget, so we're just trying to project out, if it's 34,000, we plug that in, and then we look over to the right, there's a year now where we're dipping below zero, well, so for the next 5 years, if we put in, or whatever that is, 7.
Yeah, we may need
we put
to
in an
go
extra
up
5,000
5,000 per year.
Yeah, and that's all we really allocate is to the total budget.
And so, for instance, years 21, 22, 23, 24, until you get back down to needing the
Yeah, those need to be bumped up to be more
those-
realistic.
Yes,
Right, that's what I'm
exactly,
saying.
so,
Those numbers are all way too low.
Yeah.
And
So
even the
more like-
22,000 isn't gonna be the same.
more like 35-ish.
Well, I think they're all low. If we're jumping to 37 for a new base model in 2020, every year
No,
after
it's not
that.
37, is it 37?
No,
No.
not for, so we're looking at
For the-
35 probably,
For-
we're guessing
for the
outfitted
hybrid.
at 35. That's what
So,
we're guessing. Because we're looking at,
yeah, that looks good, Casey. Bump it.
As prices go up,
Yeah,
and then this
So
might be more like
22
23 at
Sure.
that point, so that's far enough at this
Yeah.
point, probably.
yeah.
But
For our
then,
purposes, if we come in less than any of that, or in any of these numbers, which.
It helps.
We always come in under, our new dump trucks always come in under.
Always,
So
Tom.
we don't, at this time, we don't need to necessarily be all hung up that in 2025, that we're showing a deficit, because we
We
change
figure
this,
we can make up one.
we change this it changes every year, so.
Absolutely.
so at this point, we leave it showing negative, because
Right,
like,
right.
we'll have leftover
When you get down to
categories.
a couple, 3 years out is when you start getting nervous if you're gonna get a negative.
Okay,
Yeah, because it's like Pearl's truck the following year after that, it's, you know, it's estimated 200,000, which is almost right on for the actual cost without trade-in.
Without the
But if we get a good
You know,
trade-in.
we always get, you know, for that tandem, we should get around 40 grand, 50 grand for trade-in. That to me is a buffer,
Yes.
you know, for that over there.
Because we used to get tied up in knots trying to make sure we never had a negative number for 20 years. But the reality is it changes every year.
right.
For exactly what Aaron just ran, what you guys just did, like that type of thing, like Tom's trucks.
So I'm more comfortable adding more money in the police cruiser because the reality is we're not gonna be getting one for 30 grand in 2024.
And if you add 2,000 this year, it's not a budget increase next year.
Right.
It's
that
because it's
including
capital, it stays the same.
fittings?
And it's the same 2,000 you're putting in every year from that point.
But we're estimating, so what, you can buy the hybrid vehicle now. They're making it. They're just dropping the regular vehicle from the line, and the hybrid is gonna be.
Yeah.
So that's where I got my estimates right now to buy a 2019 hybrid. State bid price was 28 something.
Okay, so 35 reflects upfitting.
So,
Okay.
yeah,
Great.
so we're guessing, you know, the upfitting on that. A lot of times we have equipment that we can switch over. Some equipment won't, as they change design of interiors and so on, but, but I think we can get it done for that.
So this, I think this budget's looking for now, good.
I agree.
Okay.
Awesome.
All right,
The
so,
last Crown Vic, you want to service this week? For VSB.
Well, it's a little disappointing because Ford touted, I mean, they got rid of the Crown Vic and then they touted this new police cruiser as this was the future. And it's lasted, what, 5 years?
Yeah.
And now they're dropping it from the line completely and.
I think they're trying to force the issue with the hybrids and the
Casey,
battery
can you-
operated electric cars.
The size a little bit so that.
I
we
can
see a little
try.
more of This one.
They can,
Email giving you 2 days to order was a little
Yeah, right.
frustrating.
they can see the future's gonna be electric vehicles.
You've seen the future?
I said not me.
The one who's buying all kinds of Teslas.
Tesla's everywhere.
Gets a little Christmas card every year.
Well, HED's getting us a Tesla charger.
Oh, what's that?
Believe it.
Yeah.
See it.
Okay, so this is roads.
We know it's gonna go up, that 79,000 is not gonna do it next year.
What?
oh,
Whoa.
geez, sorry, I somehow dragged that
All right.
a little bit.
Whoa.
Right there.
There we go. Okay, so what do we have going on?
Down below,
Negative. Help me.
East Hardwick Village.
No.
Brickhouse Road, no?
No, we got.
Oh, Glenside Avenue.
Summer Street, Old Dewey Street, and Summer Street.
And I've got a lot of
boy.
complaints about Glenside.
Glenside is
We're gonna do summer
overdue.
twice, just to make sure we get it done.
What, we
No,
have it in there
Sumner.
twice?
Sumner and
Oh, where's something
Summer.
there?
Sumner's up by around by Richard Broker's.
Oh, yeah, thank you for that clarification.
And you have your glasses on. and
I
everything.
know, I didn't pay attention. Where was that other street you graded too?
Oh, the loop one?
The Loop, oh,
Caspian,
No, let me get to this.
Holton Hill, or Atkins Lane, Dix Road,
Carrier Road.
Carrier Road,
Ditch Road.
Dix Road.
Dix Road, yeah. Right above the snack
Ditch.
bar.
Dix.
Well,
Yeah.
I know where Dix is, but this is DITCH.
Oh, I don't know what. I never
That's like
heard
the
of Dix
dictionary.
Road.
All right, that's fine.
That's in the
I just was wondering. Didn't want to get lost.
All right, so we're looking at we're in 2019, correct?
Yes.
So we're looking at 2020.
No,
No,
we're in 2018.
No, we're 2018, we're doing 20,
No, we're fiscal year.
fiscal
19.
year,
Fiscal year.
this is a calendar year.
This is calendar year.
no, not on the top
No,
though.
not on the top, but down on the bottom it is.
That's why it's
predicted.
confuzzling.
So this is
Right.
already been budgeted.
So we should do fiscal then, on the bottom there, change that to fiscal.
We should?
Yes,
Like you're saying.
So it's the same as up top.
yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Well, I think we put that down there for the people who know what's gonna be getting paved in that year.
Right.
You know, so they won't get confused on,
Okay, so I'm just
between
gonna
fiscal and,
change it on
So we
top.
could tell people what summer we were doing
yes.
where.
And that's why
It
I
is
think we,
confusing for us to budget.
For us it is, yeah. But it does make sense. All right, whatever.
So that next summer, which will be,
Fiscal 2020.
no, I don't believe so.
No, it's
We're doing
fiscal-
Glenside, Sumner, Hill,
Holton.
Holton, Dewey, and
We're
Summer.
in fiscal 19 now.
we're in fiscal year 19 right now.
And that's Glenside Avenue, Sumner, Holton, Dewey, and Summer.
Those will be getting paved next year.
Yeah.
But are they getting paved in before July 1? They're getting paved after?
Doesn't matter, they were
Doesn't
funded
matter.
in this year's.
Oh, they were funded in fiscal 19?
FY19 budget. So what we're talking about now is.
No.
No.
2020.
Funded in fiscal year 2020.
Yeah,
What was funded this year was Greensboro Bend area.
yeah. So I think
then we did that
when you
after
just
the first
changed,
half of
when you just
July.
changed those to FY, you need to increase them all by
We
1,
did that,
I think.
That's confusing because I think we did all that.
Like the funding year, you're saying, like 9, this would have been funded.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see.
In
what you're
fiscal
saying.
year 19.
Yeah.
Right. Funding was, this year, 2019, but next year's budget will be, or Glenside will be fiscal year 2020. But we did the bids early in the spring.
Yeah.
And we got the bids done.
But we don't
they
actually
didn't.
pave until after July 1.
Well, that's when they could come in and pave.
Yeah.
If
Which is
not,
why it
then they
gets
would have been
paid in
earlier to
fiscal
pave.
year 19, yes.
Yeah. So, okay, so looking across. Wait, John, you said right in the get-go, we were gonna have to put more money into this.
Yeah, because we know after we got the bid price this spring,
Yeah.
when summer finally started, hot mix already went up another $3 more a ton. So
Remember how low it was?
Yeah.
$2.05?
And we said, let's pave as much as we can.
We
So
did.
we're anticipating it being 70 next year.
So
well,
wait,
right now, we're anticipating 79,000, but that was price, well, all these prices, Danny, was based on,
Yeah. So that's what
few
it
years
says.
ago.
so do we have to go to cell F10 and change that 79 to something bigger? Is that what you're
yes, I
saying?
think we're gonna have to boost that up around
I would.
85 to 90.
So let's boost it to 90, right?
You know, if bid prices come in good, then
Then we'll be happy,
we'll
but.
be happy.
But we'd be surprised.
So let me ask you a question. For me, I need to know some tonnage or mileage or something because, you know, we're doing more or less. I don't see how all of a sudden we go from, 100 to 81 to 119 to 85. There must be one year, we don't do 100 ton every year, we're not doing how are we figuring this out? How do we know how much it's gonna take for Glenside, Sumner, Holton, Dewey?
Well, I do the tonnage by over at the garage, Danny.
Yeah.
If you want it, we could
No, we
put it in there somewhere.
he roughs it out at the garage, and then in the springtime, we have actual people come up and
So
actually,
that
Gives a number.
answers my question.
yeah.
So the
Like
reason,
one year we're talking 79, next year we're talking.
Right, because they're different.
And then we go back to 81, so.
Yeah.
Right.
So you are looking at, okay, so that's fine, I needed to know that's why you were doing that.
Yeah. If you wanna know, Dan, a really good.
Oh, I don't wanna know, I just wanted to know that's
You
why.
can do the same every year, just do extra rows.
you're gonna say how you figure.
Well, I wondered if that would be easy.
Yeah, the quick way is to go on the Pike Industries website. They actually have an estimated for tonnage there.
Yeah.
So you can put in the width, the length, and how deep you're going. Now, the average depth, what we've been going, because our roads are so sloped down, is 2.5 inches. So 2.5 inches,
Would it be better if we put a dollar amount in there, more,
You mean a steady dollar?
a more steady dollar amount, and just did what we could with that, or would you rather keep it
But then
this
you
way?
run into the problem of, oh, we can only pave 3/4 of this road this year.
Well, yeah, I agree,
Right.
yeah. But you're gonna run into the same problem if you don't budget enough money for a price increase, so.
Yeah, right, which is exactly why, he needed to bump up.
Well, I'm fine, as long as we have it, as long as somebody's figuring it out,
Yeah.
just tell us what the number is.
Yep,
It is what it is.
exactly. We're still guessing though, because we don't actually know what the
Well, I
price is
know,
gonna
but
be
to
next
me,
year.
I'm comfortable with
It's gonna
what
be
they're
higher.
saying, to raise it to 90 and go
But
with it.
then do we have to raise the 2021 figure as well? Is that
It wouldn't hurt.
accurate, or?
well, hopefully part of that, hopefully we can get class 2 money for it. Because Belfry Road is class 2.
Oh, we might get a grant.
Yeah.
Belfry, Belfry.
But we should,
Yes.
yeah, again, these are all calculations.
Yeah, they are, Danny. They can't, 1 year, we were at one point 5 years ago, tonnage, we were up, $89 a ton.
Right.
And now, like last year, we were down to, I think it was $69 or $73 a ton. And now they bumped it up another $3 more, yeah.
When we paid Macco, I think
Holy
it was 95%.
Jesus.
Yeah. Jeez, everybody's slamming the table tonight.
So it's like they said, it all depends on what the oil is too, so.
So there is a note in here, something about 106,000 for just top coating, Belfry, and doing complete rebuild with the state grant at 80% would be 94,000. And that's for 2021, so I don't know if you want to address that now and increase that a little bit.
Belfry would be 94,000?
No, it says 106 just top coating, but then a complete rebuild with the state grant at 80% would be 94,000.
That's ditches and everything, must be?
Yeah.
Yeah, which needs to be done.
Well, it's like next year when we go out to bids, I can have them go up there and look at those roads and give me a cost estimate. you know, then we would know exactly what we're standing at too.
But that's for another year.
So right now, all we really need to do is raise 2020s.
Yes.
Which we just did for paving, and what about for, back road rebuild? That's just ratcheting up a little bit every year. Looks like it might even have a formula behind it. Does it have a formula? Yeah, it does, look at that.
Yeah, 1%.
It's going up 5% a year.
Perfect.
That's nice, right? People like that?
I like it.
I like it.
Okay.
Oh, so the reason that we get hammered in 2025 is because that's when we got Center Road in there again.
And that's a federal highway, it's a federal aid road, we might get money from federal highway.
Oh,
And
really?
it's 5
It's a
years
federal
out.
highway
We've got a
road.
little bit of time to.
Okay.
Seems like we just paved that though.
Yeah, but it was
You did
crappy.
8 years ago, 9 years ago.
It wasn't that long. It was, really?
Well, we're not using that much of the right-hand lane anyway, because
Yeah, no, Rob was the Rob.
It was right, yeah, it was
That's
right at the
nice.
end when before John started.
Wow.
It was probably 2009.
I think Walker Street's been, what, 10 years now? Close?
It looks, Wilkes Street,
Yeah.
no,
That was
John
only-
was here for that.
that was only shim coated.
That was
Doesn't matter,
that.
let's move on. I've been here since 3:45.
But only you.
No, I'm the only one that realizes it, I guess.
I've been here since 7:30 along with these guys. Well, all right, 7:40.
Okay. Does anybody in the board want anything more with this, or are we moving
I'm
on?
good with this.
Let's move on. Next, what do we got?
Last capital one.
Oh, can you shrink that a little too? All right.
So, okay, let me just do a little bit more. It's probably a little bit too small.
Too small, yeah.
There you go.
So
Oh,
I just want to go down here to the bottom part
Yeah.
and show you that, so in our current fiscal year 19, you did 109,000. It looked like at that point, the estimate was 104 for the next 2 years, and I did not fill in the following year just to see if you wanted it to sort of mirror 20 and 21 for 22. I can leave it.
At the bottom, is that what we're budgeting to contribute to it?
Yes, 109,000
Why would we go
is
down?
this year. I don't know, that is what was in the
Anybody
final
remember why we-
version.
Or did we just not update?
I think it's because you took out the recreation capital
No.
fund of 5,000 maybe, that's why it went down.
Or the road signs, we still had money to road signs.
It was
too.
that too, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yes, because
We cut
no
our
money
brush
for the
cutting.
road signs, 5,000 to recreation capital, and
that's the
then the
difference.
5,000 went away
That
in
was a
those
long
2
time.
years, which is the $5,000 difference.
I would agree.
Okay.
So are you thinking that 2022 will mirror 20 and 21? That's all we really need to look at on here.
Except that in past years, the townhouse has had a $5,000 amount in there, but last year it changed
To 3,500.
to 3,500. We had to do a lot of stuff here in the memorial building. The townhouse, or Neck Arts anyway, is working to do a project with the fire escapes and do some grant writing, and it would be helpful always to leverage grants to have more allocated in the budget for the actual building.
I'm
Just
just gonna
saying.
take a second to bring something up here. That I typed up. There's one in your packet as well. This was sort of like a building improvement schedule. I don't know if I can really get it to fit here, but it's probably, you have it in your packet. So on the left, it shows the project, and then they're all broken out by buildings, and it kind of tells which things have been done, as well as what might be coming up in future years and approximate costs for that. And you could use this as a guide to decide where you want to allocate some of those funds from the other sheet.
You don't have a heating system for the Judavine in there. Late breaking news.
no, but we have $23,000 in capital already, so yeah, that's right. It wasn't thought of at that point.
Exactly.
So, all right, one thing at a time.
I was just making commentary, go ahead.
I mean, so why is brush cutting a capital expense and we're mowing and everything else?
Because it takes more money to do brush cutting, and if you contract it out, it might take $20,000, and this was a way to build it up so we could have enough in the fund to do an actual brush cutting where we could do more than a half a mile of road.
We had it in our regular budget for it, Danny.
And it disappears every year.
The light department had the wood chipper, and then we would get, excuse my language, the convicts to come over and cut brush for us for 2 weeks, because they would go out, and all we would have to do was supply the wood chipper and a guy to pull it.
Right.
So then we moved it from there into the capital, so we can start saving, so we can get a good bulk fund, and,
Yeah, well,
you know, just the amount that's been put in there is very,
Minuscule.
yeah, so I believe we need to do something about the brush cutting in this town. Honestly, every road we've got needs to be dealt with it, and we're not gonna do it by putting $3,500 a year away.
Well,
So
we put more
either
in.
we'd figure, well, I hate to say this, but in the old days, the town crew dealt with it.
With
I
the
mean,
convicts, sounds like.
Well,
With convicts.
yeah,
Or
well,
what-
somehow, I don't know, I mean, it's an issue that needs to be addressed, in my opinion, and I am open to all kinds of ideas. None of them are gonna be free.
No.
I mean, we used to do it, because we had a wood chipper. Now we don't have a wood chipper.
Well,
I mean,
let's take the $5,000 and buy a wood chipper.
You might buy
that all we
half
have
a
in
wood
that line?
chipper, a third of a wood chipper for $5,000.
Well, all right, that's not.
No, do we have more than that now?
We just looked at prices on wood chippers. They're anywhere from $35,000 to $100,000 wood chipper.
What's the bike?
Don't do something, don't do it. It's easy as that.
You know what, you get mad, and just when people start
We
discussing.
try to talk about things.
No, we're discussing it. Can't we just sit here and talk about it?
We're saying we're not gonna do it.
No, who said we're not gonna do it? You turn around and get mad, and all we're doing is talking about it. That's what you want us to do. I just want to make sure you're aware that if you're asking a bunch of 55-year-old, out-of-shape guys to go out, 2 of them have to do road traffic control, the other 3 or 4 would have to do the cutting. We'll have to rent a chipper, which is not a big deal, and then we're gonna have to pay for the workers' comp injuries that occur. And they don't have a bucket, so they can't cut anything over the top, way over their head. So they're gonna have to either rent a bucket truck or have somebody with a bucket come and cut some stuff. But the rest of it, the small stuff they could cut, and the stuff they can cut from the ground up they can cut, but they can't cut anything that overhangs. Not very easily, not off a step ladder, or you can't get in a bucket of the bucket loader.
I think that there are I think you could have a two-pronged approach. I mean, I think that there might be streets where there's a lot of like low brush that could be targeted and
Right.
like Tom could identify, you know, we're gonna handle these areas. But I think we probably, to Danny's point, I mean, it's all over, and we probably should start hiring, what's his name, help me? Holbrook on a regular basis to do, you know, just identify sections and have it be just part of the program.
And I think we were hoping that when we put that money in the capital, that we would put some money in one year, and then the next year we'd add to it.
Yeah.
And then we'd add to it till we got a fund that would create enough so that we could do a mile or 2 of roads every single year.
But doesn't that, I mean,
But we haven't been using the money, and it hasn't really been building up.
Is this one
I
of
mean-
those things that other towns grapple with as well? Can
Yeah.
we find out what they're doing and figure out whether we can share equipment? Is there anything like that that happens?
not
No.
sharing equipment, no.
Well,
Because a lot of towns, they'll go out and rent their own brush, roadside mower and stuff and go out and do
Yeah.
it.
So there's nothing wrong, Danny, with talking about this. I'm just trying to point out the fact that there's some situations, like for instance, cutting around power lines, we'd have to have some help doing that, because these guys can't do that. And there's opportunities to cut brush, but there's certain situations where we shouldn't be cutting brush.
So what's the program for cutting brush now? I'm not sure, the road crew's not doing it. Do we have somebody regularly doing it, or so
that's what
nobody's
Danny's
doing it?
talking
You're saying
about,
there's
yeah.
nobody's doing brush?
right, and
okay.
and that's exactly what Danny's saying, is he's seeing like the branches are creeping in
Okay.
everywhere we go. So I think we could have a multi-pronged approach where Tom could identify some stuff, and I'm thinking that maybe it's like village areas perhaps where you don't have huge trees, it's just smaller stuff that's sticking out. Maybe there are places that make sense for the road crew to target themselves.
And you go out and you find those areas and you trim back those areas, especially on
Yeah.
intersections and corners.
Yeah, and then And then especially like you said, around power lines and stuff, I think it definitely makes sense to contract that out to an Adam Holbrook type person. Well, I still wonder about for some, like, I don't know, Center Road type or the bigger roads, like what about renting one of those mowers that has the big arm with, that makes a huge mess but just trims everything back really quickly?
What do you think, Danny?
Whatever you guys think.
Leaf, put the camera on him. Let everybody see how mad he is.
He's not mad, he's just getting us.
He's pouting.
You're right, though. No, you're right.
No.
You're right, that we need to address this.
3 years, when I was on the board before, so.
So
far, we've saved $5,000.
Right.
You're doing a hell of a job.
We're not saving anything.
No, we put it in the.
It comes to the point where Adam or somebody else is gonna charge X amount of money for each mile or square footage or whatever, and we don't have the funds to go out there and cut the damn roads. And when we do, if you wanna rent a wood chipper, that's fine. But, I'm not gonna take the guys out when it's pouring rain and have them fall down, slip over a bank with a friggin' chainsaw and get hurt. That's not worth it. So do we go out and rent a chipper for a day, take 2 hours to go down and get it down in Johnson, so by the time he comes back with it, we use it for 4 or 5 hours, turn around and run it back. So we're only cutting brush for 5 hours in a day.
Well, I think that's why you need to.
And then on good days, you guys want us out grading and doing all this other stuff to the road, so. You gotta give me direction where you wanna go.
So I think the point is, do you contract out part of it, and do you choose to do certain areas that are fairly easy to do, and then let the professionals do the real wood cutting?
That's what I would do. That's
what I would say.
Advocate.
But I would also say you put enough money in the capital so you could pay for it.
Right.
So is there, if you contract it out to somebody, like just say we contract it out totally, can you just go get a price for that? Is there a certain schedule that's recommended for Vermont, or like, so that we know how much to put in here to actually cover it?
I think you're just gonna have to pick out a certain distance that you wanna do every year. And
we're gonna get billed hourly, right?
I don't know how they bill. They bill different every time you use them.
I think if Brian can tell you, he does it so much per square foot. And I can't remember what the price was. I think it's like 90 cents a square foot or something like that.
I have seen hourly, I feel like it's like $150 an hour or something, $175 an hour.
But I guess to me, it seems like we don't have prices for any of this stuff. So we need to get some prices on it to make a decision on how much to put in. I'm the new guy, so maybe I don't really know. But
well, I guess what I see in this budget is that we went from, it looks like is the leftmost column the starting balance, or what is that, 5,000?
Yes, the 40,000, the 342, and then current fiscal year, 109 has been allocated.
So we only have 5,000 in brush cutting?
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Currently, yes. We have 8,500, yes.
So that ought to pay for some brush cutting.
Yeah.
8,500.
And do we want to focus in the village, or do you want to focus outside the village?
There's roads in the village where people are driving in the center of the road because they don't want to scratch their vehicle up, right?
Well, yeah, like up on High Street.
High Street, you can't, they're driving in the center of the road because the trees have come out so far that.
So, somebody, I feel like.
I don't think, right, it seems like somebody who's on the road can make a decision where to focus.
Exactly.
But, yeah.
Right, so we currently have $8,500 to work with on that, and then, but in regards to this, the decision has to be about, are we gonna start allocating a higher amount for that?
Exactly. I think we should. I think we should have $5,000 in there.
So why don't we call Holbrook, New England Tree Service, or wherever they are, the other one that's out there, and find out what they charge per hour, what they would charge for job, or if they do it by the mile, and just get some prices and figure it out. And then identify some roads which we think are priorities for cutting, and like I said, I think the village needs to be trimmed out. And that's where you're gonna find most of the power lines and everything.
I think I'm happy to have you guys figure that out. I don't have any special insight.
Tom, do you want to contact them? Or do you want me to?
Who's that, Adam?
All those guys,
yeah, that's fine.
You or me?
No, that's fine, I will.
Okay. So we'll have that for next meeting.
I think that sounds good. I like bumping those up. I'm all right with Did we ever get so one year we had to emergently add $10,000 to the budget for a vault door
Yeah,
that I believe we still don't have.
and then we had to take it, yeah, from other places.
What's going on with the vault door now? I remember talking about that a while ago.
The 10,000 probably doesn't buy a whatever rated door that we need, right?
Fire rated, I think we need about 16,000 in there. Because it's gonna cost like $5,000 just to get the hole cut open big enough to take the door.
Well, so we can't do anything until, this budget, because this year right here is done, that's been
Done.
approved, so like if you started
Let's put in
doing
2,000.
2,000 there.
Yeah, and the next year.
Or we could do 2,500 just to make it an even number down below. Get a little bit closer to it, is a thought.
Well, but by the time we get there, it's gonna be all of 16. I'd be
There's
fine to
15.
go 222.
Okay.
Just to throw something at it and see what sticks.
Because all the door prices we initially got were all for like 2-hour doors and not acceptable. And I was thinking, well, we have a 2-hour door now, I think, down here. But the point is that our insurance company would not really appreciate us only having a 2-hour door if we had a 4-hour fire.
Why do we have a negative amount in our bike path, all phases? That seems
Where are
odd
we?
anyway.
Right here. Yeah.
So we have a negative $23,000 balance right now on that? Why is that?
I think that probably had to do with the money we kicked in for the must be for that project down on South Main Street.
Did we overspend that line for that?
Must be. So that I guess the way we did it, we overexpended there and figured we could make it up with the sidewalk expense money and transfer it back and forth.
Yeah, a fair amount of that was sidewalk.
It was all put in at the same time to do that sort of work. That's what we said, they're interchangeable. At least when we were doing the projects we were doing with mostly sidewalks, it was interchangeable money at that point. So we overexpended the bike path just to show accuracy. But you could always transfer some money out of the sidewalk expense. But then it would be a zero. So what's that indicating? That either it came out of, it came out of there and you could make it up or zero it out, right? That's zero, that's minus, right? It's been overexpended. That was for the match money.
Yeah.
That was like a almost $500,000 project.
So, I don't care about it right this minute, but eventually it would be nice to have that. I'd rather have that at least be a zero and not a negative number, even if that means subtracting 23,655 from the sidewalk.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking would happen.
It would make more sense to me to look at it that way.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's not doing any good.
Otherwise, it looks like we're trying to like fill a hole there when in fact, we're not really. It just came out of somewhere else.
Yeah.
All right, can we, just looking, oh, where was the townhouse? That's not this one, is it? It is this one.
Well, so if we change these three right here, 20, 21, and 22 to 5,000,
Yeah.
it would make our overall equal to the 109 for the next 3 years after this year.
There should be no change.
Right.
I'd be in favor of doing that, but.
Because, yeah.
But, well, I think I am. Let me look at the
Schedule.
other sheet, the building schedule. The new one.
Sherry, am I right in understanding that this is a project that Neckarts will be paying for?
Neckarts' intention is absolutely to get grant funding for, so it'd be 50-50, most likely. If it's If it's a cultural facilities grant, it's always 50/50, so yeah, we will do a fair amount of fundraising for that. That's what our focus will be.
So those will be the fire escapes?
Fire escape. Hopefully the fire marshal's gonna approve a single.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't have a roof.
And what year are you targeting for that?
So can we guide that? Put that a
next
section
year.
for fire escapes when we get around
Okay.
and, no, in this thing here.
We're working on
And do you have a
getting approval.
estimated cost or no?
We have, I just yesterday gave John the
Put it under
architectural
other.
Yeah,
thing and the bid for a metal fire escape.
yeah,
Fire marshal has to approve it, because we want to get approved to change
yeah,
to just one.
Yeah.
Because we have less usage of the actual balcony space.
yeah.
We're hoping to get approved, and then we can take those awful, not code, rotting out of the side of the building fire escapes off. Have one, excellent metal one, and that's all code and good.
So do you have a price estimate for that?
It's around 31,000.
Okay,
And we're targeting Vermont Arts Council for Cultural Facilities first because their grant cycle is, I think the application is May 1st. And it's 50/50 and they tend to like those type of projects. Accessibility, safety, wiring, stuff like that. So, and then, yeah, so we're gonna work on getting a grant and then of course, doing fundraising for all of next year to match it so that hopefully we wouldn't have to use any capital money out of the budget. But it's always good to be able to show that it's there. When you do the grant, show that the match is in the budget so that, you know, so if our fundraising falls short or anything like that, then we can show that we already have the match in hand, so to speak. It's a great way to leverage the grant.
okay,
You know what I mean?
I do.
Our goal is always to not use that, because inevitably things happen and it needs to be used for something else, or, you know, some painting project needs to happen, or some other exterior project that the town is actually doing, because we generally take care of the inside, not the outside, but.
What other capital budgets are we looking at tonight here?
This is the last one.
This is the last one?
If there's only 3, this is the final one.
What's the library tab, is that? No.
They have, that's just their own, their stuff, yeah.
Okay,
These are the 3 capitals that we do, yep.
And this sheet that we made up, this extra sheet was made up because we talked about that, and I think that we, just, probably all the projects aren't on there, but we just threw some examples out there, and,
but this is great, because then we can add to these too.
yeah.
Exactly.
Right. And I know that, like the depot, we were thinking about painting.
Yeah.
And then we put a tentative date on it, and we also put a new heating system in 2030, but might be before that, but still.
But it gives us something to
shoot for.
Right.
What about the, so some of the memorial building stuff, like the trim and the storms, I mean, those could be done kind of anytime, but should we try to put dates on when we're hoping to do those things?
Well, what do we have in there for funding?
Yeah. What do we have in there for funding?
It's not, there's some money in there, but it's probably not a lot.
That's the next step.
27.
So we have 27,000 now.
With what's on there.
I mean, we could paint the trim sooner than later, and it'd be nice if we did do
I
that,
think so.
too. And we could go out to bid in the spring, you could go out to bid for someone to paint.
I think it would be great to try to do that for next year.
If you're going on a painting thing, you could put the trim and the depot on the same
bid?
Same bid, yeah.
Was the new heating system though done after June 30th this year? Because maybe we've already spent some of that, 27,000.
I think that might have been spent in this fiscal year, so we have to factor that in. That was
There's not gonna be much money in there.
It's probably only like the 13,000 actually, because I believe that the expenditure for the furnace here actually came out in this fiscal year. And so that pretty much took care of that 15. That's probably why the 15 was allocated.
23,000.
Oh, so that means, yeah, if that was spent this year, then we only have like $5,000. Yeah. I can look at that, but.
So then let's put the trim out a year.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the depot still needs painting, and we'll get that, try to talk to that Mike King again, and see if we can get him here again, because he did a good job, and he's inexpensive.
Okay.
Put it out a couple of years, then we won't have to worry about it, because it'll be rotted right off.
You think it's that bad?
What a negative nanny you are.
Well, we've looked at it, John. We stood it outside and looked at the trim.
I look at it, that's why it's on my list.
You think it needs to be pushed up to next year?
I'm just picking
So
on
you
you.
guys, Jesus, we look at right at something in the woods rotting off the building, this building, and I don't know.
I don't know that it is. If you're telling me that it is, then we probably ought to get on it.
Why don't you put some extra money in the capital for it?
I don't know.
We'll have to check, let's check on that, see when the money was taken out of that.
I know the last painter,
Yeah.
really did a great job, and
Yeah.
came in, we were worried it was gonna be a lot more than what it was, and that's one of the reasons why we were putting it off, trying to gain money, and
How much did it cost us, $5,000?
fiberglass.
Yeah, less than that. But the thing is here, they're gonna need a lift.
Yeah.
So it's gonna have a
all
big
high
lift.
up.
Yeah.
There's very little to paint except right around the top, right?
Yeah, it needs to be painted. You mean there's very little to paint?
Except that right around it's all near the roof, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some possible.
Well, you know what I'd do?
Well, we can move. I mean,
You can move money around in this budget.
yeah. If it's a need, then we should get on it.
To start replacing.
Yeah, it totally is.
Running into it, there had to be done, we're gonna start replacing.
Yeah.
Clapboards.
And all this is way up there. So let's try to let's figure out how to get that done next year. If we have to move money around, then, or add, or whatever we have to do. I mean, it looks like there's
all kinds of money in public safety.
yeah, there is. I was noticing that.
We might have to put catch basins to catch the water that drips through the roof. But
Oh, stop crying.
What's coming in?
That's a $15,000 roof project. That's all
we're
it's
planning that, that's on there to be planned, but the
Yeah.
shingles are flying off with every high windstorm we get, so.
So
I'm
we
gonna get out a violin for all you guys tonight.
We
You
could
and Danny.
add an additional 1,000 on 20, 21, and 22, bring it up to 110 total, or take away from one of the other buildings to add to Memorial Building.
Or you can see what the budget looks like when we get through doing the operational budget. If you can swing $5,000 into it for this year. Take money out of the vault door.
So the vault door is just too small now is the deal, right?
It's it's the one that's in the basement.
Right, I remember looking at it,
It's too small,
but I
it doesn't
forgot the
have a fire rating. It's old.
Okay, so it's those two issues.
Yeah, you might get $3,000 for that door when you sell it on eBay though.
All right.
Maybe $5,000. No, they were telling me that's what happened in Barrie. They did the same thing.
Yeah.
They were able to sell that door, they had people lined up to buy it.
Really?
Yeah. It'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it, to have in your house? Put all your guns in there?
Yeah, yeah.
It's just a door. It's not a cabinet.
I know, but you can build something around it.
Oh, okay.
Jesus. My God, these guys are so negative tonight. Let's lighten up a little bit here. The only ones that are at all effervescent are the ladies.
Thin. It's not very wide. All right.
All right, you guys are tired. You guys went through a lot of stuff going on. Yeah,
And we've been going at this since 4 o'clock.
Yeah, so Casey, I guess we'll try to figure out, you don't have to do this, I'll do this, I'm just thinking out loud. I'll have to contact that guy who painted for us and see if we can set it up and see what he thought it would cost. And I asked him also to do that for the depot.
Yeah.
And then if we have to, we can set some money aside to do some of that necessary work, because both those places could use paint.
Yeah.
There's gonna be other demands on your budget though, on the operational side. I think the biggest increase we're gonna see in the operational side is gonna be, once again, health insurance. and it's gonna be just because we changed personnel. When you change a person who wasn't taking health insurance, and you switch to somebody, hire somebody who's a family plan, that goes from like $8,000 a year, it goes up $12,000.
Yeah. Wow.
That's a big increase on our budget, $12,000.
Yeah.
And if you have a couple people you hire on to do that, then you're talking $25,000 bucks. So that's what we're looking for, is for an increase this year. And it has nothing to do with the rate increases. And maybe rate increases too, I don't know.
All right, so let's, unless somebody objects, let's call this,
Fun and
hashed over for now. Can always come back, and we probably will. So moving on, select board reports. New business.
Oh, well, this week, starting I believe tomorrow, I think they were moving chairs today, we have a painter in the townhouse that is painting the house floor and the balcony. So all those old floors that are weird patches and different colors and otherwise industrial gray are getting painted.
Wait,
Cool. Any old business?
I'm curious, Aaron, you've moved the speed gizmos. When you had it on West Church, you found that there was no speeding problem on West Church. What are you finding other places?
We had it up here and at the other end.
Here being where?
North Main.
Right by, the entrance going into the town garage, where the school sign is. We put one there, and we put one down, on, the far end of South Main Street there. We, had to recharge the batteries in order to get data off it, and then we had armed robbery and so on. So we haven't pulled the data back off from that to be able to take a look at that.
I think there's something wrong with it. Every time I went by, it always went blank. And he said it's because I was speeding, and I know I was only doing 23.
So, it got me one time when you headed up here on Creamery Road on North Main Street. I was walking up and it showed me at 26. And I looked around and there's no cars coming. And I'm pretty speedy,
fast,
but
And it does flash in residence.
What's that?
It does flash in residence houses.
because it's bright.
It's put in front of their house without anyone asking them.
And, so people find it bothersome.
Yes.
Okay.
I would say that.
Yeah, good to know.
They get it, but it's still.
Yeah, you don't want it there very long, or you'd rather it wasn't.
To them
Yeah.
after I tell their second.
So we will have that at those two locations, but we just haven't had time to pull that off
Okay.
yet.
Just curious.
And then that'll be the end for this year. We're not gonna put them up through the winter because the batteries won't last with the temperatures, and we don't want them all salt and.
There was some discussion about
Too cold
putting
for it
on
to be
Vermont
on.
Avenue. Is that for next spring?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I think our good weather's gone.
Pardon me?
I think our good weather is gone.
Oh, there's still time to build additions.
Because we like to get
For
at
that
least a week
purpose,
to
it
2
is.
weeks worth of data really to look at it. It really should be up for 2 weeks,
You can't count
That's a
on
good question.
so.
I'll let Joe.
That's an old business question. You want to ask it?
No, I just asked you.
Where are we at with the double wide on the Patton property?
It's sold to, they redeemed it.
Yeah.
The patents, not patents, it's Haley Bashaw, but they still owe last year's taxes and they owe this year's taxes.
Okay.
So they can't move it out of Hardwick,
Yeah.
for one thing.
Okay.
So are we gonna have a plan, obviously, not short-term, long-term plan, and how we're gonna deal with that property? Clean it up?
I was gonna suggest that you put aside $30,000 this year, in a special fund to clean up that property. It's gonna take $30,000 to tear it down and clean it up.
Yep.
I wouldn't argue that.
Well,
We should think about that at budget time. so.
I think we should.
We
think
don't
we
want to
got-
miss the opportunity to utilize that property as asset to the town.
Yep.
By not having it race ready. If someone comes by and says 7 acres, I want to build a
Widget factory.
whatever.
Miss another opportunity
We
by
don't-
30 days.
Right.
We don't want to miss that opportunity just because we haven't,
Not again.
we got to do it.
Right.
And I don't have a problem seeing, myself, I don't have a problem seeing that double wide right where it is because they still owe us for this year's taxes and last year's taxes.
And
And what we did was we tried to do that deal where the town owned it. We said, why should it go to tax sale again? The town owns it. Well, it should have gone to tax sale again because what's happened is they redeemed it, and this would require them to redeem it again. Now we've got to take it to tax sale anyway. So it's going to go to tax sale, but if they take it somewhere, it's going to get damaged, whatever. What if we end up with it again? At least this way, we know where it is, they can't occupy it.
But that's not.
Right, that was what I was gonna ask. So it's on our property technically, so should we put that gate back up and a sign over there, or what?
Nobody's gone near it, but we could if you want to make sure nobody
Is the
gets in
gate
there.
still there?
I'm more concerned about it being vandalized.
Yeah. Is the gate still there?
I don't know. It's pretty
I think there should be a sign that says no trespass.
But you know what I'm saying, for them, I hope they get it back. We've also.
We would love to have them get it back.
We would love to have them
Yeah.
take ownership and get the hell off there, but I hate to see
Yeah.
something you don't.
If it had gone to tax sale, they might have redeemed it with they might have redeemed both years,
And
but
as far as the other part of the property, we're just gonna have to bite the bullet and clean it up at some point.
Well, that's what I was just gonna say, so that double wide has no impact, it's on total other part of the property. We can clean up the other side entirely, right, and doesn't affect anything?
Yeah,
Okay, so, and we could, okay, so we should budget for that.
yeah, and we don't need to know today, but.
No, but we should budget for it.
we don't know what the cost? The what?
We don't
No, I
put
mean,
it
we
in there
don't have to
today.
decide today when we're putting it in our budget, but
No,
But we should put
but
it
we know
somewhere.
through past experience it'd be around 30
I
grand.
would agree.
So it's tear down is what you're saying?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, we want to get it out of there.
Oh, okay.
Everything out of there. They haven't moved their cars yet either, so.
No,
Yeah.
there's still.
Stuff just has to
Lot of
get out of
stuff.
there, because, you know, I mean, we have had occasionally, it doesn't happen every day, but we've had people come and say, hey, I'd really like to relocate to Hardwick and I need this much space.
It'd be nice to have it fixed
And
clean.
right now, it'd be difficult to convince them that's an attractive space, you know?
Yeah.
Right off the get-go.
Yeah, especially if we had to say, okay, so first we're gonna try to get some money in the budget to clean it up.
That's right.
So we better just keep moving that direction.
And I think we talked about just setting up a line item, right? I think you might have a line item for that. Yeah, we have a line item, just need to have money put into it.
Okay.
And it would be a one-time thing, so, or you could do it over 2 years.
It's like the vault door.
So accurate.
This isn't the same vault door, didn't we fix
It is the same vault door.
Same damn door.
It's never been,
It's been a long time.
it was an
Long time.
emergency when we had to put it in.
I think it was before you when we started talking about the vault door.
About needing to expand in that area, yeah.
All right, any other old business? Adjourn. Thank you so much, everyone, for bearing with us.
You guys retired today?